We're at NXT Stand and Deliver, and we kick off the show with a countdown, and more in particular, it's time for the humongous Fatal 4-Way Elimination Tag Team match with the winners challenging Lyra Valkyria and Bayley, or Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez for the Women's Tag Team titles on the NXT after WrestleMania 41. And the match is full-blown mayhem. There's wrestlers going at it all over the arena. You have Cora Jade and Jakara Jackson doing battle on the ramp. You have Roxanne Perez and Lash in trading modes on the stage. And with the endless carnage, leaves JC Jane and Gigi Dolan brawling at ringside, with Tatum Paxley and Fallon Henley doing their best to eliminate the other in the ring. Although a well-timed assist from Gigi, Tatum nails a Psycho Trap to shockingly eliminate Fatal Influence first. And they are not happy about it, as they beat down Chemical X following their loss. Though Metaphor and Roxanne Perez alongside Cora Jade can't take advantage, as they're so focused on one another that Tatum Gigi gets some much needed rest, even if it's temporary. And indeed it is, as with Lash Legends being disposed of, Roxy's able to nail a prop box to eliminate Metaphor. We're down to two teams, yet a difference maker arrives in the form of Shotzi. We haven't seen her in months, and she shows why she has the nickname Blackheart. Shotzi has betrayed her Chemical X teammates, but why? Well, no one knows. But what everyone does know is that Roxanne Perez takes advantage of the situation, and with a crossface applied, Tatum Paxley passes out. The frenemies have won. They have their shot at winning main roster gold. Yet to do that, they have to get through what could be the champions. But after one shock could enter another, as up next is the 6-woman ladder match to crown the new NXT Women's North American Champion after Stephanie Vaquer relinquished the title. And of course, just like the previous match, this one is utter madness. Each woman are beyond desperate to become a champion, yet only one can do it. So who the hell will it be? Well, one thing's for certain, it won't be Izzy Dame, as she gets completely and utterly brutalized by every single woman in the match. And what keeps her out of the rest of the match is a thunderous dive through a ladder courtesy of Kalani Jordan. But very quickly, the numbers dwindle further, as 5 standing women turn to 4, as Lullavice gets nailed by a humongous F5 onto a ladder by Zarya. She's done, and as soon as this happens, Sol Ruka is able to nail a picture-perfect Soul Snatcher onto Kalani Jordan on top of a ladder as well. And now we're down to 3 women who are now cold. Who can win? Can Zarya win her first championship in WWE? Can Sol Ruka avenge her loss in the inaugural Women's North American Championship ladder match? Or can Thea Hale complete her comeback tour in style? Well, of course, the tag team up on the Lone Wolf, as they manage to send Thea out on the ring before they both begin to climb the ladder. And neither of them are budging. They both want the title, although because of their stubbornness, neither of them get it, as Thea Hale manages to get back into the fight and knock the ladder over, which sends Sol and Zarya crashing and burning. And now she's the only one left. The crowd are on their feet. Thea is as energized as ever, and with her setting up the ladder and climbing to her destiny, Thea Hale unhooks the NXT Women's North American Championship. It's arguably the biggest win of her career. She is now champion, and someone who she's quite fond of watches on from a distance. Nevertheless, the wholesome moments have ended, as now it's time for war. It's time for bloodshed. It's time for the D'Angelo family to take on Dark State. And whilst war has casualties, you wouldn't expect it from your own family, as before the match can even begin, Channing stacks Lorenzo completely decimates Tony D'Angelo with a vicious low blow before going after Luca Crucifino. It's an unbelievable and downright disgusting disgusting betrayal, and whilst he has the opportunity to go out to Dark State, he chooses not to, as he leaves his former family behind, and Dark State just merely pick up the pieces, as if the hounds just preying on the weak, as in the end, after a completely lopsided affair, Dark State put the D'Angelo family down, and it's no surprise after what just happened, there's so many questions unanswered. But up next, can Ethan Page make Ricky Saints a transitional champion? Well, he's doing his damned best to do so, as he completely lays into him in the corner, but Ricky won't take the beating lying down, as both men go back and forth throughout the contest. Yet Ethan is so desperate to call himself NXT North American Champion that after taking down Ricky, he goes to the outside and brings in a steel chair into the match. Although this completely backfires on him, as when he goes into the ring, he gets wiped out by a humongous spear, and after following this up with a Dominator, we hear the phrase, "and still." Ricky Saints has retained! The revolution is now! And no one can seemingly stop Ricky's ascension to godhood! Yet speaking of godhood, many consider Fraxium to be the greatest tag team currently active in the wrestling world, and they're looking to prove that yet again by defeating none other than Hank and Tank, who just barely by the skin of their teeth got into the match. But can they pull off yet another miracle and win tag team gold? Well, whilst they have the strength advantage, that means next to nothing to Fraxium, whose speed seemingly rivals Sonic. But that speed can have consequences, which we see when Axiom inadvertently knocks Nathan Frazier off the apron, and Tank takes advantage as he almost manages to roll up Axiom for the free. Yet that doesn't happen, as Axiom escapes before nailing a golden ratio on a Tank. But what he doesn't realise is that Hank is a legal participant, as he manages to roll up Axiom just like his tag team partner did, which this time keeps him down for the free. It's arguably the upset of the century. The Golden Children of Tag Team Wrestling have been beaten by a comedy duo, and it's all because of one accidental miscommunication. It's happened before, but will it happen again? Well, before we find out, it's time to see who will leave Vegas as NXT Women's Champion. But who will it be? Will it be Jada Parker? Will it be Jordynne Grace? Will it be Julia? Or will it be the champ Stephanie Vaquer? Well, the match is on, and it's a tense affair. It's as if four tireless titans are doing battle, yet no matter how much stamina each participant has, they can only tolerate so much damage. And this is perfectly personified when the champion is taken out of the match by being put through the announcer's table with a beautiful moonsault courtesy of Julia. Yet she isn't done there, as she grabs a chair before nailing it over and over and over again into Jordynne Grace. This new attitude from the beautiful madness is clearly working for her, as now all that's standing between her and victory is Jada Parker. And while she tries her best, Jada just can't quite manage to handle this new ruthless side of the former NXT Women's Champion. As with a glorious driver on a well-placed chair, along with a picture-perfect Kamigoye knee strike, Julia reclaims her prize. She is now a two-time NXT Women's Champion, but to climb the mountain, is it worth being all alone at the top? Well, before we find out, as Trick Williams is heading out for his NXT Championship main event, he gets stopped by someone he knows all too well. Trick, I know everything, and I'm so disappointed in you, because if you go through your plan with them, quite frankly, you'll be no better than Carmelo Hayes. So, please, be the man who won the NXT title twice as the underdog. Be the man who beat Carmelo Hayes in the main event of last year's Stand and Deliver. Be the man who beat me. Please, Trick. It's a hell of an ominous plea by the still injured Ilya Dragunov. But will them words of wisdom fall on deaf ears, as it's now time for the NXT Championship main event between Trick Williams, Javon Evans and the ruler Obafemi. And Javon is looking to prove himself straight away as he bounces all over the place, and this culminates with him nailing a humongous dive onto Trick Williams. But as he looks for one on Obafemi, the Conqueror unbelievably manages to catch Javon before planting him back first onto the announcer's table. His back must be broken in half, yet Oba doesn't care as he looks for a powerbomb onto the hardest spot in the ring, although Javon gets out of it. But before he can do anything else, Trick hurls Javon into the barricade while sending over into the steel steps. And this stuns the big man, as Trick is able to get the ruler back into the ring as he attempts to finish the match with a trick shot of all the champ counters. Then it's Oba who looks for his finishing blow, but Trick is similarly able to counter that. And even though he can barely stand, Javon attempts to reinsert himself into the match, whilst the two titans slug it out of one another. And with this attempt, he manages to nail a picture-perfect cutter, which wipes out Trick Williams. But that was all the gas he had left in the tank, as he quickly gets taken down by Obafemi, who then powerbombs the young OG to the outside. Javon is done, and so is Trick, as he gets nailed by a powerbomb. Although as the referee's count gets to a 2, that's when Dark State interferes, as they completely wipe out Obafemi. All the while, they throw Javon's near lifeless corpse back into the ring. But he starts to stir, and he watches on in horror at the destruction this new faction have caused onto the ruler. Although his thoughts get cut off with a gnarly nut shot delivered by none other than Trick Williams. No one can believe it, and as soon as this happens, Darkstate just leaves the near lifeless champion behind, whilst Trick nails a trick shot on the young OG to pick up the win at his 3rd NXT title. Who the hell can stop Trick? Who the hell can stop Darkstate? Are they working together? Have we all just been fooled? Well, we're just gonna have to wait and see. As if you like this video, I think this might interest you.